Loading. Yeah, and success. Hello.
Hola, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Town Hall.
Happy Wednesday, Kat.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello there.
Happy Wednesday.
Let's go.
Hi from Philly.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
What is Ricardo doing?
That's that video from
Whoa.
like the Venezuelan
Oh.
government meeting or whatever somebody threw up.
What?
Ricardo either has a fun background.
Can you play that one more time?
Or he's multitasking between, the job and Catalyst.
What's up, Peter? Whoa, pump up the volume.
It's a good music, but I'm about to hit the button and au revoir. All right, that was fun.
That was good.
It's about to happen at some point, like when you can't share the screen, initially when you have the opportunity to still come off mute and all that, I guess it's an opportunity. Anyone else has anything else to share before?
I can get some seniors to do the same thing, but it may not have the same effect. Just saying here.
I can dance the robot. I can do the robot pretty good.
Come on then, Mike. Show us.
For another time, got to keep a teaser hanging.
But Tommy, that might have been really effective onboarding tool, You never know.
Hey, a little Qigong by seniors or Tai Chi instead of the jungle rumble. I mean, who knows?
Awesome.
I'm up for the Tai Chi and the Qigong.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Well, we have quite a few presentations today, which is really exciting. So let me just make sure we don't get bombed again. So apologies for muting you all. And we will remove that restriction once again when we get to the post-town hall, after town hall, so that we can have those conversations and everything in between. So good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, maybe even good night for some of you. Thank you for being here with us today. Would you believe it or not, it's another Wednesday. It feels like we were here just yesterday, but here we are. It's Wednesday, 5 p.m. UTC, and it's no other place and time than weekly Project Catalyst Town Hall. If you are watching this on YouTube live, which you might, and you would like to join with us directly in the Zoom in a little while, if not already, in the description box below, you will see a little invite link that you can register with, and you'll be with us in just a couple of moments. What you see on your screen via YouTube interface is generally just a small fraction of all the greatness and all the happy faces that you can see behind the other sheets that we see here. I see at least 3 of them here. So if you want to come and make those connections, especially for the after town hall breakout rooms, make sure to hit that invite link in the description box, and you will be with us in a very few moments. Other than that, I think it's a good time as any to proceed with the kickoff. So let me get us sorted, and I hope we are ready to go. And who else, if not our special guest, should kick us off with the welcome to the experiment slide. So are you there? Hiram? Hopefully I did give him. I didn't. There we go. That should be fixed. Off you go.
Okay, hello. Thank you. Pleasure being here as always. Welcome to the experiment. Things may break, like documentation, differ greatly between iterations, disorient, overload, and inspire. Our goal, provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration.
Yay!
Thank you for letting me do it, sir.
Thank you, great job. As always, I know we're going to hear from you and your friends later today, but could you just introduce yourself briefly, like who you are and where did you stumble upon Catalyst?
Okay, wow. So, yeah, I mean, it's already over a year that I'm basically full-time on Catalyst and Cardano. I came here, basically I was looking for ways to scale, how can we scale impact and business together? And I found a big home in Cardano in terms of the vision, the people, and what we are, and the opportunity of this blockchain to do it. So I'm full-time on that. How can we, basically, that's what full-time I'm doing, part of Cardano for Climate. We see it as a huge opportunity for Cardano, but that's we're going to speak later. My background is business and technology for many years. And about 5 years ago, I kind of stopped everything and joined an NGO working on agricultural supply chains. And since then, kind of my road is focusing how can we use technology to scale impact and business together. And yeah, I'm really excited about Cardano and the people I meet here. It's really amazing to be here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that introduction, Yoram. I think you're doing some of the amazing work, and I can't wait for the presentation in the later half of today's town hall, where we're going to learn more about what's next for the Cardano for Climate and all the impact related challenges. So thank you for opening up the town hall. I hope it wasn't too scary. And now I think it's the time to start into a couple of the closeout projects that we have today to present. Chris?
Absolutely. I just also want to call out, Yoram, you've been very instrumental in bringing on board some really amazing and incredible new participants in Catalyst. So, you know, for those of you who remember from just a couple of weeks ago, SeedStars closed out their project for the SeedStars and Financial Times Cardano competition, blockchain competition. Well, if I remember correctly, without the introduction from Yoram, we wouldn't have had SeedStars or that Acceler activity at all. And, you know, it's certainly been a pleasure of mine to work quite closely with you over the past few months to begin to shape some of these ideas around what does a good accelerator and mentor ecosystem mean for Cardano. And obviously it's not just your work alone. You know, it's a pleasure to work with a whole bunch of people that are contributing. But, you know, I certainly just want to call out that, yeah, it's really great to be working with someone that can see the big picture and also can connect the dots and is one of those super connectors. So well done. So moving on, thanks, Danny. This is the first of a couple of project closeouts today. And this is the CGO, aka the Community Governance Oversight Group, led by Stephen Wittenstall and a band of great colleagues. And we're going to watch the closeout video now and get into a bit of Q&A.
Community Governance Oversight. Fund 7 Final Report. We examined 4 key areas of Catalyst governance. Catalyst Circle Problem Sensing. How to quantify the extent of community support. What are the minimum requirements for effective problem sensing? What should be the criteria for closing out problems? Fund 8 Challenge Settings. Issues that were identified. Low quality of assessments and guidance for challenge settings. Duplication of challenge settings. Overlapping categorizations add complexity. Little or no funding for some areas. Delegated representatives. A literature review led by Kenrick Nelson was held from April 2022. Entitled, Measuring the Socioeconomic Health of DAO Governance. This formed the basis for a Fund 8 DREP white paper working group. Parameter changes. We came to a much broader idea of what counts as a parameter. Parameter changes should be identified as something the community can have input into. There should be a clear process for participation in deciding changes. For much more detail, check out our full report and presentation. Available on the Project Catalyst Public Minimum Viable Product document.
Thanks, the Community Governance Oversight team, and I'm welcoming Stephen Wittenstall and Alison Fromm to step up and have a bit of a chat with us. So, folks, obviously, this was a very much a condensed version.
Just before we jump in, I think they have 2 more slides, and then.
Oh, great! Absolutely, yeah. Sorry for for jumping the gun.
You were just going to say what I was going to say, Chris.
Yeah,
and, yeah. That was just a kind of very long videos. So that was like the headlines for what we're doing. But there's actually a much longer video, which is 9 minutes long and time-stamped, and it's linked in our slides. I'm just going to post into comments now a link to the tweets that where all the source materials are. That's timestamped and that goes through the detail. That links also to a Google slideshow, which is a slideshow where we see the last 2 slides here, which is like the summary level. The detail level is the full written report that we have. And then there's full documentation in our Git book. So I'd just like to close on our final slides. And well, what next? That was Fund 7, Community Governance Oversight. And I'm quite happy to discuss that with you now, Chris. Fund 8, Community Governance Oversight, is already in progress. We're taking a little bit of a pause for August. We're going to restart. That's now going to be, we're taking a different change of tone. That's going to be led now by Vanessa, who's going to be Vanessa Cardew, who's going to be chairing that going forward. And we've already started some work, as I mentioned in those slides, from our DAO governance paper, which responded to the introduction of DREPs. Kenrick Nelson and Torsten Orr and myself are working on a DREP white paper working group, which is in progress as we speak. And just to summarize broadly, there's a lot of people involved in this project. It wasn't just me, it's about 8 to 10 different people from various backgrounds. And I'd just like to summarize what Tivo said, that community governance topics cover focused areas where decision-making has had the highest impact on upcoming changes. And it looks like the provided deliverables have started great discussions and useful insights for future collaboration. So if you just quickly go to the next slide. And here's who was involved. So I'd like to say thank you to Alison, Andre, George, Joe, Kenrick, Livia, Matthias, Miroslav, Phil, Tivo, Vanessa. And also we had great input from IOG. Thank you very much to Dor, Daniel, and Harris. So over to you, Chris.
Great, thanks, Stephen. Well, again, introducing yourself and Alison to step up. I guess, first of all, I'm keen to understand, and for the audience to understand, what are some of the insights that you can speak of in regards to, say, either the duplication of challenge themes and challenge setting, or the potential issue of little to no funding being allocated to certain priority areas? Anything that you can speak of there for us to...
That puts me in an awkward position because we are a collective project, and that was George Lovegrove's insights. So I'm the project manager, so really I can't, the main point about community governance oversight was to bring together different viewpoints, not one viewpoint, not one system or one point of view, because that doesn't help with decentralized governance. On the challenge setting side, if you look at our report and our slides, you'll see 2 things. You'll see a summary of George's work, George Lovegrove's work, which I do not want to speak to really, Chris, because that's not my work. And then a counterpoint from Phil Koo, who, so we are, we believe that for decentralized governance to be effective, we need to include different points of view and counterpoints of view so that we can be all very well informed and people can make their own decisions. After all, in an experiment, it's important to celebrate our failures and to learn from them so that we can iterate on them. So I apologize if I can't speak directly to George's points.
No, that's absolutely fine. It's an interesting set of perspectives, and so I'd encourage everybody here to dive in. Alison, maybe I could ask you, how has the CGO evolved over time from when the proposal was first conceived to, I guess, where you are today? And I guess, an extension of that question, maybe Stephen would also want to comment on that afterwards. Where do either of you or both of you individually or together see this developing as we go forward?
Yeah, great question, Chris. Thanks for that. So in a way, the group came full circle as we evolved. So the proposal began, it came out of a pilot that was proposed by Harris, oh my gosh, it's probably almost a year ago, in which the decision-making around changing catalyst parameters would be shifted from IOG towards the community. So trying to answer that question of how to turn over governance of catalyst to the community. And in the model that IOG and Harris had originally proposed, there was this entity to be created called the Community Governance Oversight Group, which would help to liaise between two decision-making bodies, the Catalyst Circle and a technical council, and the community. So provide oversight and serve as a means of communication and documentation and transparency around that whole process. So the group formed because IOG and at the time it was Catalyst Circle V2 members jointly drafted a proposal to build that group that was envisioned in the Catalyst parameters pilot. However, we had to pivot once the proposal was funded, and thank you sincerely to the community for funding us, because the parameters pilot as envisioned didn't go forward. So part of the Fund 7 work of the CGO was to then figure out what does that mean for our scope in the absence of that pilot. And there were other areas of oversight that were described in the proposal, and that's what we covered in the summary of the slides and the video that Stephen just showed. But when I say full circle, one of the interesting things was we realized how much work there is to be done around tracking and categorizing and understanding what are all of the different parameters that make up this catalyst experiment. So even if there's no formal pilot around decision-making for parameter changes that's going on, it's still really valuable to track and understand what those parameters are, because how can we begin to think about governing them as a community if we don't know what they even are? So a big focus of the group shift became understanding what those parameters are, and that will certainly be a focus. You asked about what's next. That'll be an important focus for CGO in our Fund 8 proposal. And again, a huge thanks to the community for supporting both of those proposals. And then Stephen, I'm sure you want to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that in kind of more general terms, in terms of, I mean, we've responded to changing events, Chris, and obviously governance is very dynamic in Catalyst, and, you know, but I don't know if you listened recently to the fireside chat with Fred Gregard and Dirk Hondel, and they Fred was talking there about de-risking decentralized governance. So Fred refers to the middle layer and how, which, you know, is the Catalyst community, the Cardano community. You know, how can we de-risk this layer so that we can be trusted for viable businesses, for mainstream businesses? And I think that's what we see ourselves in the business to do. We're not given authorities. We are just proposers. We come together from different sources. That's another important point. We're not going to try to take over the whole system. We come together with different capabilities. It's very important that we disagree on things, even that, so that we can demonstrate in that context a level of maturity, so that we can move towards decentralized governance that can be ultimately trusted. So, the mainstream business can see us as, decentralized governance, and IOG hopefully can also see us as trusted players. But we just perform an oversight role, which is oversight, reporting, and observing. So that's really the general big picture, Chris.
And I guess it's a really interesting point around, the idea of the organization of this CGO, right? I'm sure that there are probably many people here in town hall, on Zoom, or are going to be watching in the coming days, that it's going to pique an interest to, like, how can we get involved, right? So I guess the next question is what would you sort of say to people that have interest in at least maybe putting forward opinions or contributing to your valuable work?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are opportunities. As I say, we are a proposal team, so we will go away. We're not going to be here forever, so we're not an authority. So we had a set participation. Having said that, for Fund 8, for example, Kenrick and Torsten are doing great work where they have done after town halls, where they've invited the community to participate on the DREP white paper working group. And that's very innovative, because what we're doing there is taking academic materials and then we're reviewing that in relation to DREPs, and we're involving the community. And we started with so-called, we're breaking up that kind of expert paradigm, and Torsten has facilitated after town hall, I think it was last week, and we had a meeting the other day, which was really great. We had what might be called lay people coming along and commenting and feeling really engaged with the, quote, intellectual side of DREPs. Also, an example from where we've done, so it's very much divided into engagement and involvement. It's very much on the subject level. So in our last proposal, for example, on parameter changes, Vanessa did a lot of outreach on Telegram to see who had commented on parameter changes. And when I say parameter changes, I mean catalyst parameter changes, and I mean how the community perceives parameter changes, because that's the issue that we were trying to pick up on. And we were finding that people in Telegram and different parts of social media, for example, have different views about what is a parameter change, you know, and what voice they should have. So we were trying to capture that, and then Vanessa, also there's the issue of consent. So we go back, we reach out to people and we say, is it okay if we use what you've said? So, but having said, we have a Discord server. It is quite quiet because we're not really a discussion server, we're a working group, you know. So, but we would welcome either on social media or through our Discord server any ideas or contributions, you know, and we may reform in a different way in the future as well. So we're kind of flexible, and we hope to be imaginative in terms of how we will regroup in the future.
Yeah, and I really appreciate all of the work that you and the team have done. Thanks, Alison and Stephen, for joining us today. What I can say on the subject of parameters is it's a topic of focus and a priority that we will continue exploring. And I myself will be, you know, pretty heavily involved in some of the steps moving forward, as I'm sure will other people across the sort of Cardano stakeholder group. But yeah, thank you so much. We're going to move gears now into the second project closed report. Danny, can we go back to slides if possible, please? This is a Fund 7 challenge from the Singularity Net challenge, if you might remember this, casting your minds back. And we're going to be hearing from Eric and the NFT Profile Picture AI Generator project.
Hey, this is Eric here. This is the final report on the Tachiku profile picture morphing via AI, which was granted in Fund 7. This demo will be on my local host, but it's working exactly the same on prod. I am only using localhost for the use of test data. So if we now enter the app, the first thing we have to do is to upload an image, which I will choose. I will define what size of image I want, validate, next, and then we'll decide a theme for the morphing. We have many here. They are not all very flattering necessarily, but let's take this one just to have a look. And we'll proceed. From there, it will start morphing, and it will take like just 1 minute, and we'll get it back. And here we go. It's morphed, so we can see all the steps taken towards this, and then we can choose one picture that we like. For example, let's take this one, and I will now share it publicly. When I do this, it's going to tweet the image, not when I'm on test here, but on the mainnet. And then here, from there, we can add metadata. Joker. And update. From there, we can pre-mint, which will allow us to mint this image on IPFS. So we'll do this. There's also a policy for a collection, which is called Joker here. And at this stage, we can buy it. So I will click buy. There's a price here, and let's go. And this will trigger payment system, which I've integrated with a third party here. I will use my Nami wallet. Continue. Sign the payment. Confirm. In the meantime, I will go back in my Tachiko here, look at my NFTs, and you can see that it's here, ready for buy again. I mean, until it's booked, it's going to be still ready for buy. Let's see the process. Okay, it's now successfully purchased, so we can view this item on chain. Here we have the confirmation of the transaction with the fees taken. And if we go back to Tachiko, we see that now it's sold. So here we go. So we imported an image, we morphed it through an AI, and we minted it on the Cardano network, and somebody bought it, in this case me. In addition to this, we can view the image as an end user, so you don't need to be logged in here. You have all the metadata, the collection, the attributes, the full image, and anybody can vote on it as well. And last but not least, the full API has been made publicly available. So all the Tachiko APIs for uploading images, morphing, sharing images, the AI integrations, everything is in here, ready to be consumed. Thank you for your support. This project would never have been able to start without your funding. And I've got new big plans now for progressing it further, but that's another discussion. Thank you.
And congratulations to Eric for closing out such a novel project. If you get a chance to dive into the project close report, I think it's really humbly written, in so much as Eric's identified that the achievements he's most proud of is the product delivery and understanding what the possible iterations for the product is. However, he acknowledges that as he understands now far better what people want and perhaps what they're prepared to pay for it, he's able to take that forward into future projects on this basis. But where he doesn't feel as if he achieved what he set out to achieve was in terms of engagement with a large community. And I really like the line in his report where he says that I'm not the type of person who will sell vaporware. And so unfortunately, I have to be convinced myself of a top quality product before I start marketing it. And as a consequence, the marketing phase took a bit of a hit in favor of delivering a robust DApp. So I really commend that approach. The fact that there were KPIs and assumptions that were set at the start of the project, obviously as part of the proposal, which the Cardano community voted on. But because of the complexity to actually deliver the tech and the product outcome, maybe he didn't have the resource or the time and the capacity as a one-man team to be able to execute on all of those ambitions. And so, things may break. This is part of a big experiment. And, these sorts of tech experiments should still, have their place. And if you aren't able to achieve everything, then, being able to call that out in your reports as evidence of where you understand the shortcomings or what could have gone better in your project, it's almost as valuable as being able to achieve everything that you set out to achieve. So thank you very much, everybody. Now, looking at where we are, well, again, this table is becoming even more intelligible. But look at that. One point that I do want to point out is we are racing towards 200 projects closed. And this is, I hope, mine and our teams and your ambition that by the time we come back together next week, we have eclipsed 200 projects closed. So looking forward to seeing what the next 11 project closeouts submitted into Catalyst are. And, you know, as I say every single week, if you want to dive in a bit deeper, you can look at all of the monthly reporting, what evidence each project is providing. And then you can also take a look at all of this great project close collateral that we're building. Nearly 200 of you guys have closed out these projects and produced closeout videos and end of project reports. So I tip my cap to you all. Danny, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I think we're gonna need to figure out some different way of actually visualizing it, because I think the table is irrelevant now, and I think we need to find probably a better way to visualize it. Maybe a picture or something. We had some other one, but that one was also getting a bit out of control with all these pictures and whatnot. But I'm gonna give it some thought to see if we can better represent all the projects which are barely fitting on the screen. But other than that, what's happening? Well, as you know, even though it seems like it's quite a slow pace now in Catalyst on the front end, there's a lot of work that is being done in the back end, and especially on all the supporting roles for the QA session, and that's the quality assurance part. What we managed to do since we spoke last week, we finally published the further documents that actually aggregates all of that data. As you might imagine, this is actually our biggest spreadsheet to date. So please don't be discouraged, but we try to introduce a number of instructions, so it's much clearer to actually understand what is inside a spreadsheet. I do appreciate there's a lot of different tabs in those spreadsheets on its own, but at least it is in one place. We opted in to have it in one place instead of diverging in all these different spreadsheets all over the place. So at least we have one place to go and get that source of truth. As such, I hope you had the opportunity to go through most of these things. I think what you can already find in there are the proposal scores, the assessments, the veteran proposal assessments, the worksheets, and a lot of other documents as well, especially if you're a veteran proposal assessor. Today, we finally managed to publish also the agreement rates, which then calculate the rewards and the reputation that accrues fund to fund as a pilot leading into the reputation program for the QA part of the Catalyst. And then the second document, which is new and has been introduced to especially help to bring clarity on the decision-making by the veteran proposal assessors, is the feedback document, where actually, if you are an assessor and you do remember what assessment you've produced in the previous stages, then you can just look it up and see what sort of consensus your assessment has received. And then if you have any questions, all of the VPAs were asked to provide contact details. So if you want to find out more, a lot of them are available. So make sure you jump into that document and perhaps seek guidance and mentorship, because they are supposed to be almost, as you say, mentors in the space, because they've earned their ranks over the period of time. And I do encourage them as well to have those conversations and help proposal assessors themselves to get better as well, so that over time we can increase the quality of the output as such. So a lot of documents. If you have any problems or issues, make sure just to reach out on any channels, and I think we'll be happy to assist with the information on that. Other than that, what's next? We are on schedule still to continue with the vote. Start next week on August 25th with a soft start, if everything goes well. The team, today's meeting on the team has mentioned that everything seems to be going really well. We've resolved most of the issues. I think like 95% are done. We're going into some internal dry runs later this week. And if everything is green lit, then on Monday, we should know for sure if everything will be proceeding as expected. So fingers crossed, everything seems to be doing well. But then if you're interested also what changes will be introduced in the voting app itself, then make sure to stop by the next week's town hall, because our product owner from the Yarmagander team, Mike McNulty, will come and give us a brief presentation on what the team has been working on and what are the changes between the previous fund and today's fund. So a little bit of a teaser. So make sure you come next week as well, or you watch the recording when you catch following. And just a brief reminder, as we're waiting, please do not misplace your QR and PIN codes, because that will be needed, especially if you're the first-time voter. Make sure you save them securely, because you will need them to cast your votes or to log into the app itself as well. If you lose either of them, you may be out of like this funding round. So just keep that in mind. And with that, I think we're going to have a really cool presentation about something we touched upon in the beginning of this town hall, where Joram came forward. And I think they've asked us to play the video first, where I managed to sneak in the one from the YouTube. And then we're going to jump into the conversation. And I think Melanie will give us a little bit more. So let me try to hit the play button and hopefully let me know if the sound is good. All right, I see the thumbs up. That's good.
We come here because of Cardano, the mission of making the world work better for all. We heard it in a different language, which is a heart language.
What I do at IOG. So the main question is, so impact is actually associated with a theory of change. And
just basically, we're here to make sure that we are giving everybody a voice. We love what Dr. Mihaela said and that quote from...
So I think we represent Emurgo Academy. All of you know about Emurgo, so I think it's like Cardano Foundation's Emurgo IOG.
Basically it, I think. It's about sharing, it's about collaboration, it's about being very proactive into open source.
Konmo is a stands for the Japanese word for kama, so it's like a continuation. So it's like what we are talking here. It is never a...
Because we're boots on the ground, we're following nature's examples.
Transparency, traceability, trust, accessibility, decentralization are all elements of impact applications.
The Urban Farmer D app is a decentralized application. Our job with our application that's going to do the job for the customer is it's going to manage your urban...
I'll go quick just because of time, but hey everyone, my name is Cole Bartlett from the Sustainable Ada team, and this is the Community Impact Lead Generator by Cardano for Climate and Sustainable Aid.
Fund 7 showed me that we're competing for resources. We're setting ourselves up to, you know, if we're the most popular, get the most votes, we're the clean.
Build a decentralized global community to enable technology to fight climate change and social inequality. So a lot of...
I'm very, very grateful to you. At the moment, we're learning huge amounts from WADA, and then from Joram and Laurie and the other guys. We're
now. All right. Hello and welcome.
Love it.
This is Cardano for Climate, the very first ever Impact Fest. This is the break.
Digamos, Wiki. Bueno, bienvenidos nuevamente a este espacio de lenguaje de corazón. Lo estoy diciendo en español porque...
Okay, so first on our list, hot off the press, Zuha. Would you?
Hey, we're live.
Just like that.
Okay, let's just wait for it to come back.
Yeah, I'm going to get the timer.
So in Laos, we do not have a formal banking system. We have a lot of villages that are not financially included. And therefore, we...
Melanie,
so it was a bit of a big deal. It was a bit of a big deal. Impact Fest last Thursday. We broke Zoom. We didn't realize our Zoom account was only 100 people. Pivoted. Josh from WADA came in, we'll live stream on YouTube. Cole figured it out, helped me navigate that end of it. So we made it happen. Pretty absolutely impressive. Same with this video today. Juanita put this little snippet together for us. It has very, very little chunks of a bigger impact. It's on our YouTube channel. Hopefully someone will drop that in the link. Our whole intention is, you know, we heard duplication. We see duplication all over the place, and our intent is to bring people together, and I think it's starting to happen. Next slide, please. We had really good feedback. We have a feedback form to fill out. If you've got ideas or want to help, please join us. This is not a one woman or one man deal. It's collaborative. You saw Emurgo coming on board, Gimbal Labs, the communities coming together around social and environmental impact. Next slide, please. And we're taking Cardano's Define Your Possible and changing our world. We're kind of even thinking outside that box. We don't know what's possible, but with collaboration, we can do more. We can change our world. Next slide, please. So with the success of the Impact Fest, we're actually going forward with mini Impact Fests. We had one this morning at our Cardano for Climate meetup. I think it was 8 to 10 proposals. We tried to squeeze them in and got that happening. We have Africa Town Hall coming up on this Friday, 1800 UTC. You'll see it in the swarm slides at the end. Please join us there. We're hoping to have 4 or 5 breakout rooms in one in Arabic, one in Swahili, one in French, and a couple in English. So please join us and keep this connection happening. Thank you so much, Danny. Thanks so much for putting this in too for us.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Ram. Thank you, everyone who is actually involved. I do have a question, if you wouldn't mind. You did mention that you see a lot of duplication happening. Why do you think that is happening, and what are we going to do about it collectively?
I think it's disconnection. Honestly, that's my personal opinion. 1,100 proposals. We went through and found 200 of them. On this past Friday, I was at Africa Town Hall planning meeting. I just found another proposal that I hadn't even seen. And it's like, how is this possible? How can we connect? Darlington with Lido Nation is working on a solution. AIM tools are working on solutions, and we're starting to see this happen. Idea Scale, as beautiful as the platform is, we're missing some of those pieces where we can do some searches and go, I care about environmental impact. I'm a boots on the ground person. How do I connect with somebody on Cardano Tech? And if we can start bringing these together, Cardano will be the blockchain of go-to for impact proposals. I believe it. I didn't believe it 6 months ago, but after 1 year now that we've been doing this, I believe this is very possible, and together we can do it.
100%. And I think that's essentially where we've always wanted to land, right? Like being very collaborative, trying to find the synergies, and a lot of great projects over the course of many, many funds, and going, you even had some of those in your presentation here, like Gimbal Labs and not, countless of others that have come together where initially they were driving solo, but then they saw like so much potential in actually being able to drive together to actually drive the meaning behind the idea in a way that would make them even more successful driving it home. So I think you're absolutely right. We're growing quite rapidly. And, in that environment, as you've mentioned, it's 1,000+ proposals. It can be intimidating. Like, how do you actually know the neighbors next to you, when there is so much happening at any given time and all of that. So definitely, I think if anyone's watching and been thinking about how to address these issues and how we can actually rejuvenate a lot of that collaboration layer, let's figure it out, because I think that's probably, in my mind anyway, one of the most important and unique factors of what's happening within the Catalyst, people coming together and essentially being able to collaborate. And what you guys and gals done with the Impact Fest is just phenomenal, and it's really great. And I commend you for all the work, because it probably took quite a fair amount of the time to actually go through all of that, right?
And sorry you couldn't get in at first. I understand you were one
I did.
of the
I broke the door.
101.
I eventually came in. I kicked somebody out and got in.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, because it's a team. Somebody caught that and saw it and made it happen. So the collaboration is a big piece of that for sure. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Awesome. Well, we are going to jump into yet another presentation from a fellow community member that probably doesn't need a lot of introduction, but I'm sure he's going to introduce himself quite well as well. And that is Juan. Juan, are you here with us?
Yes, Danny, thank you so much for the introduction.
How are you doing today?
Very, very happy, very, very, aware of how much balance are we talking about here. I just hear every presentation and every topic that we've been mentioning here in the town hall has been it's been about balance. So that's great to know. And I just see Melanie and Jerome work. It's great work.
Yeah, and I think that today's presentation is something that is a topic that you care about quite deeply for quite some time. And it was really by pure accident as I was roaming through the breakout rooms, was it a week or 2 weeks ago? And then we ended up in a breakout room, and then we started talking, and then you shared the passion about how we should be actually looking after ourselves and what it means to be a bit balanced in such a chaotic place, an overwhelming place that catalysts can be. And it really spoke to me, and I hope you don't mind that I volunteered you to come and share your thoughts also with the rest of the community to share some of that wisdom and your perception that might inspire others to follow the suit. So thank you for saying yes, and I'll hand it over to you. So Juan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I just think that I'm talking to a screen now, so no worry about it. That's what you told me to do, right? Okay, so basically, right. So could you please, I decided to name this idea balance because it's what I've been looking for many years, and the time that I've been with Cardano, which is about 3 years or 2.5 years or so, it's something that has been always inside me, looking for balance. So yeah, we just put a little bit of the synonyms of balance, equilibrium, stability, homeostasis. And actually, it's what we are looking for. That's what we all look for every time. So could you please pass the slide? Yes. And proof of that is this quote from our friend Nori Nasigaya, which is here in the audience, that I found when I was looking for a book to read, and I found that in this book about building a second brain, which is a great book, and what Nori says here reflects directly exactly what we are trying to solve. So if we really look for ways to define the problem, this is it. Next, please. We as humanity, we've been evolving for 7,000 years. This has been a long trip, and we know we cannot do this fast. We have to take our time to do it. So let's talk about the last 20, 30 years. The change has been exponential, and it's going to be more drastic. So we have to accommodate our culture, our communities, the way we live, and which is more important, the way we actually survive. So could you please give me the next, please? And then for that, it's very important to think about the way we see and interpret the world, because it is exactly like that. And now we are facing, eventually we will be facing the presence of DAOs and metaverses. And we need to know exactly what position are we going to take on those. And reset is a way when we every day in the morning realize or take a time to plan our day and think a big picture of what we want to accomplish. As Ray Dalio says, look after nature to learn how reality works, which is key. I think we are part of nature, so it's very important to think about those little things that make a big difference in our lives. Next, please. So with that, we are hitting, or we are actually getting to a meritocratic way to live. And that meritocratic way to live tells us that we have to be ready to even be prepared. So learning is going to be a priority in a way of living. So we have to be ready to learn. The thing with learning is that it has a little bit of discomfort in the way we do things. But nothing matches the discomfort that we are living right now, because we don't know what is going to happen. So with everything that is going on. So as Stephen Covey mentions in every single or his work, pieces of her work, that everything starts with you. Everything starts with us, with self. So we don't have to, we can do stuff, we can do things to alter or to ensure that certain things that guarantee our stability are going to be always there, which is the things we eat, the time we sleep, the physical activity that we do, and actually the mindset. The mindset is something that it depends on you, not no one else. You decide if you are going to be happy when you wake up in the morning and say, this day is going to be a happy day. So it's just on you. And no matter what happens, see struggles as a ways to accomplish goals, as a way to learn. I liked what Stephen said earlier about collaborating, about coming and looking at the failures for the project and learn from them. You know, that's the way it's supposed to be. And at the end of the day, we can see if everything we do accomplish the goal. If it didn't, we still have to pat ourselves and say, well, I did what I could. But in reality, the reality is hard. We still have to report and we still have to, you know, perform. But there is a way we can do to accomplish that, which is delegating. Voila! Delegating is making teamwork, and that's the best way that we can achieve, put together or develop all the goals that we have, and all the ideas, make those ideas a reality, and not pack our day with all the things that we have in our mind just to accomplish something. And that's, we delegate and we take care of these aspects of life, empathy, make sure that we make fun, over the things that we do, and also think about gratitude, and as I mentioned before, reward ourselves. There are many others, and I invite you guys to think about those, and we can continue working on this. But yeah, we have to see learning as a way to accomplish better opportunities for the future and for us ourselves. So all that at the end is going to be quality input. That for sure is going to develop the best outcome that we can get. Next. I was able to present this project or this idea at the LATAM team with a panel. It's a very, very, with an exceptional panel. And I'm going to mention a little bit of the things that came up with out of the panel. So we have Denise Camboy Mireles, is a biologist. She specializes in phytotherapy, and she was telling us the importance of certain plants to improve life, improve our health. So going back to nature is important for getting the best of thank you, the best of our day. And then Mercedes Rogeri, she's a doctor, pediatrician, and she helps us with the nutrition, the things that we have to eat, that we're supposed to eat, especially for pregnant women that needs specific nutrients and specific things to do. And then we had Karen Montes, who she is a psychologist, clinical psychologist. She helps us with the things that we have to do to set up our mindset. And one of the things that she mentioned is that every day in the morning, at least dedicate an hour, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of meditation, praying, or any other way of thinking highly, and 20 minutes of exercising. So that hour is going to take care of many of the things that you have to do. And then it came Jimmy Rueda, which is a physiotherapist, and he did something very, very interesting, which was how laughing helps our body. How, and one very important part, how everything we think, how we talk to ourselves, how everything we think impacts what we do. That was exceptional. And then Dr. Nasanovsky, Jorge Nasanovsky, spoke to us about the chemicals that affect our brain and help us be happy. You know, so it was a very good experience to be with them. And well, actually, we have two of them are proposal for 9. Denise has a proposal, and Cital Dog Health to Health, Jorge and Karen, and Mercedes, they have another proposal for 9. Next, please. So this is the adaptogens that help the body, and the serotonin, the levels of serotonin that was presented by Dr. Nasanovsky, as well as the medical activity, the activity that we have to do, presented by Mercedes Ruggieri, Dr. Mercedes Ruggieri. Good. Next, please. So
did we lost Juan, or is my computer acting up a little bit?
I think, yeah, Juan's dropped off for the time being, but he might be imminently back.
Yeah, let's give him an opportunity to come back. But very important topic that he's picking upon, and I think especially when we try to think about the weight of challenges that we're collectively trying to solve, like they're so huge and so big in scope, and it just feels the weight of it, that it's very often sitting on our collective shoulders. That what really spoke to me was when he's talking about the delegation. And in essence, that's what decentralization is about, right? Like you don't want to be just that one person, that one individual, that one organization responsible for delivery or maintenance of anything, really, right? You want to make sure that you divide and conquer in a way that doesn't drive you down to the ground in an effort to actually maintain such big goals as we are arguably trying to do collectively in Cardano. And by decentralization, you're actually delegating the power to the people next to you and to the organizations and individuals all over the place that actually help carry that burden and weight, and essentially help give us an opportunity to take a break when needed. Like one of the elements that I always try to think about when it comes to decentralization, like I want to be important enough to have a material impact on the environment that I'm participating in, but also equally so, I'd like to be irrelevant so that if I'm not, participating, that it's, the show goes on, the environment carries on. And in that sense, I am not a critical piece of that environment. And, decentralization and distribution and all of that sort of plays into that realm of it. And, if we centralize a lot of those elements, that it becomes quite a heavy burden to carry. And, the concept of delegation, introducing other people, teaching other people around us what we know, sharing the knowledge so they can actually come in and help through the means of collaborating, as Melanie and Yoram talked about earlier, that helps spread the load, and that helps with the delegation, and that helps with the collaboration. So yeah, beautiful words by Juan as well. I don't think he's, did he manage to reconnect?
I am in, yeah, I mean.
Juan, sorry, yeah, you could have just cut me off. I don't see the screen, so apologies, I didn't see you because I'm on full screen as well. I don't see anything else, but Juan, back to you. I was just filling the space, trying to fill in your shoes a little bit, but
just
I didn't do as good job as you did.
Yeah, what if we go back to basics and embed fun and everything we're doing here in Cardano? And some of us that need it, some others don't, but many of us need to take control of our reality as humans. So it will be good to think about what Ray Dalio says in his book Principles. Could you please give me the next slide, please? So he talks about being hyper realistic. It has to do with assessing your reality. your skills, your environment, the tools you have, the friends you have, and with that, start, building up what is the start of what the assets that you have. Next, and then be radical open-minded in terms of assessing what you have and who you are, and embrace it. It's key. It's key to embrace it and not to. And then the next, please. Be radical transparent has to do with, once you embrace what you are not afraid of people saying whatever they want to say, and you are confronting your traits, and then also the things that you need to improve with. And that's actually what I'm doing right now here. Yeah. You notice. So next, please. And those three elements will help us a lot to take things, to make things have fun. This is not rocket science. This is very fun. And learning has pain, but the pain has rewards after that. So just keep on learning and keep on working. And that's it. We have, thank you so much for this opportunity, and get back to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Juan, so much. Powerful slides, powerful thoughts. I hope we can all reflect upon them. I think it's something that we always quite forget in the midst of the craziness and the speed of everything that's moving around. And that happens in the real life. And now we are in this crypto blockchain environment where everything seems to be amplified 1,000 times. So like pausing and reflecting is definitely key on not only maintaining our own inner balance, but also mental health and state. And as you said, it's all about learning. And I'd probably take it even further. And again, tie it back to what everyone's been speaking earlier, that it's easier to learn in a group with the people next to you, with the people that you can motivate each other, and sort of like also keep each other accountable. Because like when you're probably, walking solo, it's much more harder road and a bit lonelier to actually, get to where you wish to go. And if you have a pal next to you, left to the right, that you collaborate on those things, I think that can bring a lot more joy along the way. So thank you, Juan, so much for bringing those thoughts into the town hall today. And thank you for saying yes for that invitation from the last week. Awesome. We are almost at the end. So again, that's thank you from Juan. And before we drop off, we do have an invitation for a fireside chat, which will be happening later this week. And I think we do have a Sebastian with us, so I'm going to put him on the spot a little bit and see if he catches my invitation. If not, it's okay. It's my fault. I didn't tell him ahead of the time, but would love him to invite us personally because he's been setting it up. Sebastian, how are you doing?
No problem. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for the space. This is simple. This Friday we have a call with a talk with 4 of the most recognizable persons and talented with a big heart in the ecosystem. There are only 4, but we hope to, in the future, have more of those of you. In this occasion, we have a James Dansey, the Jose Isico, Rich Kopko, and Benjamin Hart from the common aspect from those guys and his startups and companies is they have closed proposals. They finish their proposals, and in the idea of this event is tell to the students and the public and the ecosystem in general the story behind how is implement and execute a proposal. And among these aspects, we want to resolve the importance of closed proposals, the importance of take an idea and take them to the final of the journey. So all are invited this Friday, 2 p.m. UTC. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the invitation, Sebastian, and apologies for putting you on a spot, but you did great. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, if you're interested, it's coming up on Friday. So make sure to come in. I think there's a really great wealth of information, especially from people who have gone end-to-end entire experience in Catalyst from different parts of the time, different funds as well. And I think there's a lot of wealth of information that we can share and keep continuing to pass down to other proposers and people who are just entering freshly for the first time or have been here for a little while but want to learn more of the insights. So thank you for putting this together, Sebastian, and we'll be looking forward to checking it out as well. Speaking of the events, yeah, we made it to the end of the town hall today, almost, at least the main part. If you are here with us for the first time, we will be here again next week at 5 p.m. UTC. I saw someone reach out to me also on a chat. If you want to find the recurrent link, make sure you click on this one in the slide deck, and that will put the recurring event directly in your calendar, which is happening every Wednesday at 5 p.m. UTC, and we'd be very happy to have you here with us. If you are also here for the first time or you haven't seen some of the other resources that you can navigate throughout the entire ecosystem, there's a lot of links on this slide. Obviously, this is not a comprehensive list. There's so much more that could be included in here. But if you want to just get your feet a little bit wet and you don't know where to begin, probably subscribe to the announcements channel that gives you only the key events and key things happening so that you don't miss a beat. And then if you want to dive a little bit deeper, you can also subscribe to the mailing list, which summarizes all the key events from the previous week, generally every week on Friday. And you will find that link in the second line on this slide. And with that, I think we're all eager to find out what the menu is like on the after town hall today. Natalie, floor is yours.
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the After Town Hall space. As per usual, I'll be walking you through the events that take place throughout the week and the breakout rooms happening shortly after we're done. So to start off, driven by the intention of local input for global outcomes, the Catalyst Town Hall operates on a global scale to build a very inclusive format. So as you can see on the slides, there are 5 different town halls, each adjusted to local languages, cultures, and perspectives, and also including the main Catalyst Town Hall that we were in today. The Pacific Town Hall takes place each second Thursday at 1 a.m. UTC and is done in English. The Latin American Town Hall happens each Thursday at 2130 UTC and is done in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. The Africa Town Hall happens each second Friday at 1800 UTC and is done in English, Arabic, Swahili, and French. And lastly, the Eastern Town Hall each second Saturday at 9 a.m. UTC and is done in English, Japanese, Indonesian, and Vietnamese. As for the weekly events, the Gimbal Labs Playground event takes place each Tuesday at 1800 UTC on Zoom. Cardano for Climate on Zoom as well, each Wednesday at 1500 UTC. Swarm session Saturdays, Zoom call at 1700 UTC, and live donation on Twitter Spaces each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 a.m. UTC. Cardano Catalyst Women meet every Thursday at 6 p.m. UTC, and they also have a weekly after town hall space. This week, they'll be taking a break. The Innovation Community weekly events include Let's Talk About It every Monday on Discord, a breakout room after town hall bi-weekly on Zoom, Innovation's newsletter weekly, proposal helpers anytime on Discord, discuss and create anytime on Discord as well. So they're a public community where they continuously encourage networking among entrepreneurs, developers, and early adopters of digital technologies. So it's a space where they encourage engagement and exchange of business value among different members. And also just a little reminder for breakout room hosts, please take 5 minutes to answer the form so they're able to share the community information at the Innovation newsletter. So you can do so by scanning the QR code or clicking on the slide to fill out the form. So the human code for blockchain activities, the pillars as to why we all meet include to participate in meaningful conversations and collaborations, to connect with other community members, ideas, and projects, and to catalyze new ideas and improve processes together. If you would like to host your own breakout room, it's very simple to do so. You can just take your slot by scanning the QR code or filling out the forms found on the slides. And another reminder for breakout room hosts, please make sure to record your sessions and send them to courseworm@gmail.com. I just sent the email into the chat, just so we can make them public and upload them on the official Catalyst Swarm YouTube channel. And now for the breakout rooms. It's a little cozy compared to the past 2 weeks, but here we go. So there's the Sala de Cafe led by Latin American community, Cardano NFT Alliance led by Sebastian, the Clarity DAO pitch led by Logan, and they'll be chatting about the Clarity DAO pitch competition and how the early stage DAO projects can get involved. Decentralization versus deregulation, Lloyd. Join the Drip Drops team as they discuss decentralization and how it differs from deregulation. So this is a high-level discussion and all are welcome to join this open forum. Atala Prism Pioneer Program demo of SSI applications, Anushka. Join to learn more about SSI, ask questions related to Prism Pioneer Program, and enjoy a demo by Tim O'Brien of another SSI application integrated with Atala Prism. And lastly, for today, there's this Cardano for Climate Mini Impact Fest by Newman. After incredible success last week, they continue ongoing Mini Impact Fest. The party keeps going. So today, the Cardano for Climate community gathers to hear your impact-related proposals. There is plenty of time to connect and collaborate, so join and sign up today. And this is it for the After Town Hall. Back to you, Daniel, for the final words.
Thank you, Natalie. As always, you would imagine that you would have, not enough choices, but, every time there is more than one, I always struggle to choose anyway. So I think the job is not any easier today with those amazing topics. It's always exciting to know that they're all are going to be recorded, so you'll be able to catch upon them at a later time. But now this concludes the main town hall part. If you are on YouTube watching this live, please don't be shy to come down in person for any of these Zoom breakout sessions. You can find the link in the YouTube video description just below this window, and you will be with us in a few moments. And for everyone who is out of time for today, once more, I appreciate you spending time with us, and we are going to look forward to having you here with us at the same time next week, again on Wednesday, August 24th, I think it should be at 5 p.m. UTC, or around a number of other town halls around the globe, or any other community events throughout this and next week. So till then, have a great time, everyone, and bye-bye.